Just when many started to think Odell Beckham was getting traded to the Rams, they turned to the Patriots for their wide receiver. The Rams dealing a first and a fourth round pick in this year's draft to New England for Brandin Cooks and a sixth rounder. This now eliminates the Rams' need to go get Beckham and takes the team most linked in a potential trade with the Giants off the board, and a team that had discussions with the Giants, as first reported by Pat. Pat, does this mean Beckham is not going to be traded and is staying with the Giants?
Not necessarily. It does eliminate the only team we knew was definitely discussing trade with the Giants. Now, we know from reports that other teams called once they heard that the Giants were open to having this conversation. What we know is this, that the Rams, the trade price was too high, and also, from what I understand, they're afraid of the same thing the Giants are, which is giving Odell Beckham Jr. $100 million over 5 years, if it's going to be that $20 million number. They're looking at Cooks and saying we can give up a low 1 and a 6 and get him and a 4. A 1 and a 6, especially that low one, was never going to get Odell. So they had the conversation. They did more research on Odell as a person and as a player, and they decided that this was the better option, though I've heard, like Peter King was mentioning, that Cooks could get, I think he said 16 or 17 million.
Imagine what Odell would get.
Well, and also, if you're willing to give Cooks that kind of money long term, why would you not be willing to pay Odell that? I don't really follow that.
All right, so let's turn to the happiest man on earth, Anthony
right.
McCarron, who has sworn that Odell should go nowhere.
Yes, and I stand by my words, Jonas. I'm delighted by this development. I was happier than the Rams, I think, when this deal was announced. So good. I don't think Beckham should be traded. I don't think they could ever possibly get fair value for him in terms of talent, and he needs to stick around in Giants blue. 15, 16, 17, 18 touchdown receptions next year, something like that.
That's it?
Big season.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the question would have been, well, could the Giants ever get something close to what his value would appear to be? Maybe the Rams, with the 2 first-round picks, could have potentially given something close. Now you know they're never going to get proper value for Odell Beckham Jr., but now they are stuck with the problem that is Odell Beckham Jr. I mean, it would be a perfect fit. I know people have talked about it, maybe shot it down already, but it would be a perfect fit to go to New England because you trust that Belichick would be the one guy that could keep Odell Beckham Jr. in check. And you know what, Tom Brady, he would just have massive seasons year after year as long as Brady is there. But that's not realistic. And the Giants, if they're not getting 2 number 1s, and they're not going to get 2 number 1s, they have no choice but to keep Odell Beckham Jr., hope that they can contain him and keep him in line, and hope that he's happy playing under whatever contract they decide to give him.
Right. And I'll say this. The only person maybe more happier than Anthony is Pat Shurmur, because he came here, right, he wants to coach Odell Beckham. He wants to make him the centerpiece of the offense. The problem is the business side, and as Sal said, the Giants are still in a position where they don't want to give Odell Beckham Jr. the contract, not only that he wants, but that he needs to step back on the field. He will not play, like I've heard people say, oh, well, he'll eventually just come back and play on the 5th year. No, he won't. Unless he totally changes his mind. I just talked to somebody the other day who reiterated what Ian Rappaport from NFL Network had said. He wants a new contract. If it's in New York, if it's another place that he gets traded to, he wants fair value, especially after the season he just went through, getting injured, putting his body on the line in a preseason game in Cleveland.
Well, let me ask you this question, and here's something I don't understand, and this is what I like to call my worst nightmare, which is the Patriots getting Odell Beckham. They have the picks now. They have the ammunition. Nobody thinks, though, that that's the route they're going. All of the insiders are sort of saying they're not interested. Are you surprised by that, or could you see the Patriots coming into play here and trading maybe 2 first-rounders or something like that, since they now have them to trade?
I think the Patriots have to be picking up the phone on Beckham. The thing is, Belichick does not have a track record of paying wide receivers the kind of money that Odell Beckham wants. So if Odell was willing to drop that prerequisite to get 1 year maybe to play with Tom Brady, but I don't think, and I don't understand that to be his priority. It makes sense to me that Belichick and the Patriots would arm themselves to either go up and get a QB or draft one late first, especially after he traded Jimmy Garoppolo for a second-round pick. And now that looks like it could be an even worse decision than people thought of at first. I mean, the Niners look like they're building, like they feel like they're building a future dynasty around this guy. So Belichick needs to go replace, the quarterback depth that he traded away.